Hello, welcome back. This is Dominique here at First Team Subaru. We are inside of a 2026 Subaru. This is a Crosstrek Premium in particular, but we're going to be covering the multimedia screen here. Now, this video is going to be pertinent to any current generation, so 2025, 2026, certainly, and maybe even some 2024s and 23s. Subaru with the 11-inch display screen that we have here without navigation. You can even use it for, if you have onboard navigation, all the functionality will be the same, except for it actually, of course, doesn't have the onboard navigation. So there'll be one less tile here, and some of your settings will be a little bit different. But let's jump right into this screen here. So first, we're going to go over some hard press buttons on the outside of the screen, because looking at it, it looks like it's full digital, and sometimes it's easy to miss some of the hard press buttons on the outside of the screen here. So obviously this screen is protected. It's got screen protectors, stickers and stuff on it. So we're going to leave it that way to preserve it for the ultimate purchaser, but we'll go over these buttons. So I'll get a little bit closer here. This is a hazards button right here. So pressing that clicks on your hazards right there. So your flashes are on. Hopefully this is something that you never need, but if you do need it, it's right there. And normally this white sticker will be taken off, so you'll be able to see it a little bit easier. So hazard is right there. Volume control, pretty straightforward. You can press it in for a quick mute, turn your volume up, turn your volume down. Of course, there's a volume control right here on your steering wheel as well. So right below this button, we have our front defrost. So this is really the first kind of hard press button that's missed a lot of times. You can get to your front defrost here in the full HVAC menu, but if you hit that hard press button right there, you can see it kicks on the fan speed. These new Subarus have moisture sensors and all kinds of sensors on the inside. So when you hit your defrost, you may notice that it's kicking up to maybe full blast or maybe 75%, and it's just trying to clear whatever moisture is being picked up as quick as possible. So that's your front defrost. Buttons here and here are quick temperature controls. Okay, so you have dual climate control inside of this vehicle. If you have your red and blue buttons on both sides, that lets you know you do have dual climate control. And what that means is you can have two different temperatures in the vehicle. So if there's someone on the passenger side and there's some conversation and maybe some argument about it's too hot, it's too cold, then the passenger can adjust their temperature as you see to make their side warmer or cooler. So there's less, argument going on. If you need to make it the same, so let's say I'm sitting on the passenger side, I'm like, it's too cold in here, I have it warm, and then I get out of the car. If you press this button, it pulls up your full HVAC menu. Your sync button is right here. That is gonna sync both sides back to the driver. So now both sides are at 70. I'll just display that one more time. If you break sync, the light goes away. Press sync, and it's back synced to the driver's side. And then you notice now that we're synced, if I adjust the driver's side, it's doing both at the same time. So if you just want one control, one temperature control, make sure the sync button is selected. So while we're in this menu, we'll go over some other buttons right here. This is your auto button. So this is going to, whatever temperature you have set, is gonna have an auto function where it's gonna automatically adjust your fan speed and so forth, and temperature control to try to get to that temperature. So you can see I bumped it up to 74. And 77, and see our fan speed is increasing. If I bump it down, and now it's going the opposite way. It's gonna try to get it to 60 degrees in here, so it kicked on the AC, and it kicked up the fan speed, trying to get to 60 degrees. So that's your auto button right there. That's your recirculation button. So your recirculation button, a lot of times, of course, like in the summertime, people may use that to get the interior cooler, but that also closes the air vents from the outside of the vehicle. So if you're riding in an area, let's say if it's smoky from forest fires or something like that, or if there's a construction zone, a lot of dust in the air, if there's a skunk in the area that got ran over or something like that, this will close the outside vents, so there's no fresh air coming in. So when this is not selected, it's fresh air from the outside. When it is selected, it closes those vents to shut off the outside air from coming in. All right. AC button, that kicks your AC compressor on or off. So obviously your AC compressor will need to be on to get to low temperatures. You may notice that it may be on and the temperature may be higher, like here. It won't damage anything, that's fine. But you can always just turn it off. So you can just turn that off and it's fine. Max AC is obviously gonna kick it too low. high, fan speed, pretty loud, and it's going to get it as cold as possible, as quick as possible, okay? So we mentioned these hard press buttons here. You can also, if you just like the digital display, you can adjust temperatures on both sides here. Down at the bottom are your vent controls. So this is gonna be upper vent only. Upper vent and lower vent with a little bit more air coming up in the upper vent. Upper vent, lower vent, equal air distribution. Lower vent by itself, and then front defrost and lower vent, okay? And down at the bottom, these controls at the bottom are gonna be fixed. So I've removed that menu so we can see our normal home screen here. At the bottom, these controls are fixed. Simple on off, pretty straightforward. Fan speed control, pretty straightforward. This button, you can see it says all fans. So, and then you can see right here, it says front, and then that changes to all. So that is just changing your vents to all. You have the ability, if it's just a driver here, that you can actually just shut off these vent controls here. So without, you can close the vent, of course, but it has a setting where it knows based on seat sensors, no one's sitting on the passenger side, and it can default to just the air vents on your side, which frees up a little bit of fuel economy, all right? So you may notice when you get in that it just says driver, and that's when it's only has your vents here, and then your lower vent on the driver's side. It's getting a little warm in here, so I'm gonna turn this off. So that is your HVAC control. At a quick glance, if you have any specific questions or if you need more information, please do reach out to me directly. The last thing I wanted to show, I showed this AC button. That button can be remapped. So you can change that button to a recirculation button or a full AC button or a sync button as well. So I'll show you that here in the menu here in a second. So we're just gonna do a quick rundown of the tiles here. So the tiles are all of our buttons here that we can select, okay? So they're similar to kind of apps on our smartphone or tablet. So the radio button's pretty straightforward. This is gonna take you into the radio screen. This is where you have favorites and so forth. Now you have 18 pages, 18 spots for favorites. So you hit this little over arrow, 18 spots. So if you find a station that you like, don't be shy about it. You can save it because chances are you've got plenty of space there. So you can see right now 98.7 is already programmed as a favorite. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kick over to a different band. And here we got satellite radio. And I'm going to show how easy it is to program a favorite. You literally just press and hold. And you can see now Sirius XM channel 2 is my number 2 favorite. Okay, so you can have different sources, FM, AM, XM radio, all on the same favorites page, and you can go seamlessly through them all with this seek button left, right, that'll take you through your favorites sequentially in order. All right, here at the top, FM, AM, XM, that's just another way that you can select your radio band. And same thing with this button here. So if you're driving down the road, don't try to mess with this while you're driving. You can use this button here for your hands-free. Right underneath is just going to have information for your song titles and so forth. So you notice here there's, channel left, right. You can go backwards because satellite radio does do a brief amount of recording, and you can even pause the satellite radio. So I've used this in the past, dropping off my daughter at preschool. One of my favorite songs comes on. I want to pause it so I can hear it when I get back in my car. So you can do that, and I believe as long as the engine running. I believe if you shut the engine off, it's not going to save that information. So it's saving it basically in the background. It's like pausing live TV, and kind of good way to think about that. If you're pausing live TV and you turn your TV off, it probably won't pick up back where you, unless you have a DVR, it probably won't pick up back where you were. So got a little sidetrack there, but just trying to make a correlation to explain that feature. All right, so that's the radio, pretty straightforward. This is our home button. This will always take us home, okay? The media button is gonna be media that's outside of the radio. So you can see Bluetooth, USB, iPad, iPhone, and auxiliary. Yes, you still do have an auxiliary port right there. So if you have like an iPod that's sitting around the house with music on it that you've been trying to access, plug it in, you can use it. It even still has it right there, it still supports it. You can also use it through USB or through USB connection to another device. If it's a phone and it has the ability to stream music wirelessly, that's what the Bluetooth function would be for right there. So Pandora and so forth, streaming apps. If your phone can support wireless streaming of music, you can use that function. The phone will take you to your phone menu. If there's a phone paired, this will pull up your phone log right behind you. The apps button is just going to show some other apps that are, they default kind of to the back screen here, a lot of times except for the Android Auto. The Android Auto Apple CarPlay tile will show when a connected device, eligible device is connected. So settings. This is really the main component here of the video. You have a way to customize most of what you see here in your vehicle. So most of your functions and settings can be changed. The way that the car interacts with you can be changed, your display, and a lot of things can be customized. So when you get a minute, you can go in here. I'm not gonna go through everything, of course. This video would be 2 hours long, but I want to point out something that I promised I would show, meter screen right here. So meter screen, you can see right here, it says meter information screen, eco gauge. That is the MPG plus or minus at the very top. It's all the way to minus because we're idling right now. But if I hit this button, you can see gas range, outside temperature, or eco gauge. So I'm gonna hit outside temperature. And you can see now, it shows 56 degrees Fahrenheit up at the top, 1029. If I change it to gas range, we really need gas. It's not showing anything right now. And eco gauge. So up at the very top of your driver information screen, you can see those things changing. So just to show you where we were again, we're in settings, and this is under meter screen under settings. So we'll go back right there, okay? So your different tabs here, general, sound is gonna be all of your sound settings, obviously. You can scroll this screen like this, or you can just press it. So it's gonna operate just like a smartphone or a tablet. So very intuitive. Phone, this is where you can access all the settings for the phone. So you can change the way that it interacts. You can also, you manage devices there, add or delete devices, and so forth. You can even change device name. It's gonna show as Crosstrek, because we're in a 2026 Subaru Crosstrek, but you can change your device name to whatever you'd like it to read. So this is for the car itself. It says Crosstrek, but if you wanted to change it to, you know, Dominique's Crosstrek, Dominique Subaru, whatever you wanted to change it to, you can change it there. All right. Radio settings, again, very straightforward. You would click each one and it gives you the ability to change some basic settings. So pretty straightforward. Last but not least is car. When you hit that one, it takes a while to load because this is a lot of where the being able to customize is right here. So your automatic vehicle shutdown after 30 minutes, you can turn that off. Eyesight. This is going to take you into a lot of your eyesight features. You want to make sure that these are turned on in most situations, in all situations actually, unless maybe you don't like the emergency lane keeping assist or the lane departure or something like that. But I recommend keeping pre-collision braking on. Oh, there is our automatic timer right there. So we've been sitting here for 30 minutes. That is what that looks like. You can just hit OK and it's going to extend it. It's not going to shut off. So you can see it has been reset. It'll go another 30 minutes just in case I forget that the car is running, and it'll shut it off automatically if I don't press that button. So again, here in eyesight, a lot of different ways you can customize how the eyesight system, which is of course the large camera system up here, up top of the screen, extra set of eyes out on the road, you can change and customize things there. Defogger, you can change that. Interior light, this is another thing that's commonly changed. When you get out the car, shut it off, shut the door, you may have noticed that your interior lights here, they may stay on for quite some time. You may have even stood there wondering if it's ever going to turn off. So if that's you, you can change it to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or whatever you'd like to change it to. Or you can just turn it off to where there's no delay. The lights will just shut off automatically. All right. And there's additional settings here. I'll show one other thing that's commonly asked about, and that is the rear seat reminder. So if there's not going to be people or kids sitting in the back seat or pets, you may not need that reminder. We can't see it because this sticker is covering it up, but there's a tab behind it like this. There's a slider that's turning it on and off. We can't see it because of this sticker here on this protective screen, but you have to take my word for it that it goes just like that, toggles on and off. All right. Quick rundown of your settings. Everything else is pretty quick from here. The My Subaru, if you have a My Subaru connected subscription, that will be able to communicate some information with the car. If you hit that button, it'll give you some functionality there. Car info. This will show your pitch and yaw as I'm told that's what it is. I've never been off-roading before in my Subaru, so I'm gonna have to take my customer's word for it. But no, seriously, these are your angles. This will show angles here. Again, the sticker's covering up part of it here, but this will show your angles, incline, decline, pitch and yaw, and then also this will illuminate, your tires will illuminate green when they're receiving power. And of course, as you know by now, you have a symmetrical all-wheel drive vehicle, so all 4 tires will always be getting power in some degree when the vehicle's in motion, okay, in drive at least. And then the maintenance tab, you can go and you can set maintenance reminders inside of the vehicle. Now, the auto function, if you have the My Subaru subscription, you can change it to auto, and because the subscription, the app is communicating with your car, it's keeping a tab on your exact odometer, and it'll let you know when service is upcoming due to time or mileage interval. But if you want to set it up manually, or if you don't have that subscription, you can hit this button, you hit the gear right there, and then you can go in and change your date and change your mileage. So 6 months, or every 6,000 miles for oil changes. If you're here local in Hampton Roads area, Virginia with us, we do 5,000 miles because we generally do more city driving, and city driving degrades oil a little bit quicker than highway driving. The engine's doing more work at lower speeds, if that makes sense. Okay, if you have questions about that, just let me know. Be happy to go more in depth. You can turn your display off, okay? So that's letting you know that the screen is powering off, but everything's still going to be functional behind it as far as like your music. So your music will still play and so forth, but the screen the display is turned off, and to turn it back on, it tells you just to press and hold for a few seconds. So that may be useful. Say if you're at an airport, you're picking someone up, the plane was supposed to touch down at 10:35, and you still got another 20 minutes. So maybe you're gonna catch some Z's, maybe you wanna listen to some soft, soothing music, but the screen's a little bit bright, and you turn it off, but you still have your HVAC going in the background, so your AC or heat is on, and you still got audio coming through the speakers. So that's just one scenario. Valet mode, if you're going somewhere where they're gonna be valeting your car, parking your car, or if it's just a situation where you don't want someone to have access to your information here, you can set up a passcode, and to unlock the radio, you would have to re-enter that passcode. So perfect example, if someone's valeting your car, if your phone's connected with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, theoretically, they may be able to get in there, look at your text messages, look at your history of where you've been with Google Maps, your phone log, and so forth. So if you're worried about your information, any sensitive information, you can lock it with valet mode. And then these are just some other tiles that you have other ways to get to it, but auto vehicle hold is the same as this one right here, right there, and then your vehicle dynamics control. You may have noticed that was inside of your settings menu as well. All right, so those are all of our tiles, and then we have quick menus here at the bottom. So we'll quickly go over these. This is a quick car menu, so this goes over some of the most commonly adjusted settings as it relates to the car itself. Driving assistance, and then you see more settings where you can change your units or the warning volume. So vehicle control right there, driving assistance, and then more settings. Okay, so this is the car menu. This is for auto vehicle hold. Auto vehicle hold will hold the car in gear, hold the car at a stop while it's in gear. So if you're in traffic, that's a good time to use that. If you're in a fast food drive-through line or some sort of drive-through line where you're going to be sitting, that may be another good time to use it. When you turn it on and you're driving along, when you bring the car to a complete stop, you'll be able to take your foot off the brake. It's going to hold the car at a complete stop while it's in drive. So that's the function of that. Auto start stop, I covered that earlier. That's to turn the auto start stop function on or off. This is our home button that will always take us home. Shortcut to your devices. All right, so this is how a shortcut to manage devices. So you can see add right there. We can simply add a device. And then last but not least, driver profiles. I recommend setting up a driver profile if there's going to be more than one person driving the car. What this does, it's very simple to set up. Literally, you select your language, you enter your name, and then you select your phone. So you would pair your phone first, or if you don't have a phone paired, it'll even let you do it at the next step. What this does is it uses your phone basically as the identifier that it's you in the car. And then when you set up this driver profile, it saves settings that you've changed in the background. It will save those settings to your driver profile. So for example, if you have your profile and you do not want the active lane keep assist feature on, which is a common thing. So let's say if you have that turned off and you have some other other settings adjusted in the background. But say if I'm another frequent driver and I have my driver profile, but I like that feature turned on and I have other settings changed, that's a good explanation of that. So if there's multiple drivers with different tastes and settings and preferences, may be useful. Another thing that it saves is radio favorites. So some of our customers do it just for their radio favorites because their spouse may have a completely different taste in music. So there you are. So there's a quick rundown here of your audio multimedia display, as they call this. I'm not sure if I touched on this button or not, but this is for your rear defrost. When you're in a vehicle that has the cold weather package like this, and you know you have the cold weather package with heated seats, turning on your rear defrost, of course, it heats up the back glass, of course, with the heating elements there, but it also heats up your outside mirrors. And you've got that little emblem there right there in the bottom of the mirror that looks like a heated mirror. That lets you know that the glass is heated. But one of my favorite things is it actually turns on your windshield wiper de-icers. I have a separate video about that and a little bit more in depth into that. But this basically heats up your back glass, heats up your outside mirrors, and it makes sure that your wipers are not going to be frozen. All right, so sorry that it was a little bit lengthy, but there's a lot of information to cover. Hopefully it was of value to you. Again, please reach out if you have any other specific questions. But this is Dominique here at First Team Subaru in Suffolk, Love Encore Redelivery Coordinator. Thanks for tuning in.